Hi, and good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. This is Lisa Knox. I'm the owner, the founder of LM Knox Law and Mediation. I'm also a family law attorney and a Florida Supreme Court certified family mediator. Right here in the great state of Central Florida. My office is based in Tampa, but thanks to the beauty of Zoom, we are everywhere. Right. So happy New Year. I really look forward to talking to y'all tonight. Okay. So welcome to our first live of 2024. I know we were supposed to go live 2 weeks ago. I do want to say I'm sorry about that. Like a lot of you, it just took a little bit more time for me to get into the 2024 spirit. But here I am, and nobody can stop me. So let's get into it. So this, like live, I think I'm going to talk about something that's been coming up a lot in the past few days, and that is child custody. But hear me. We're going to talk about the non-traditional child custody. So when I say non-traditional child custody, I mean like a family member, has a child, but they can't take care of that child. Maybe they're battling an addiction, or maybe they're traveling for work, or, something like that. And let's say the other parent is not in the picture. So they leave the child with the family member, or they leave the child with the friend of the family, right? And so that happens in a lot of different communities. And I see it happen quite often where they're left with the family member or a friend of the family and so forth. And a lot of times there's a lot of weight put on a power of attorney. Like that parent leaves or is not in the child's life, and they give the person who's taking care of the child, the caretaker, they give that person power of attorney. And so by the time I talk to them, they've like put a whole bunch of weight on this power of attorney, right? And they're disappointed because they realize that, like, hey, I have this power of attorney, but I can't enroll this child in school. I have a power of attorney, but every school board is not going to accept it. Every doctor is not going to accept it, or, it wasn't done. We did it online and all. So now they're saying that it wasn't done correctly. I can't, do banking for the child, or I can't make decisions for the child, or so forth. And this happens a lot too. The parent left the child with me, gave me power of attorney, and now the parent is coming back for the child, even though the parent is not able to really take care of the child. The parent is mad at me or whatever, wants to take the child back. How many times have I heard that? If I had a dime for every time I heard that, I would be a very sad millionaire, billionaire probably, And if you all think about it, how many of you have a friend or a family member who, is raising a child that's not theirs, whether it's grandma who's raising her grandkids because the children are not available or possibly incarcerated or battling addiction, or if it's, the family friend that everybody calls auntie, but nobody knows how they're related. And she's got, the person up the street's kid, and everybody loves the kid and everybody considers that child the auntie's kid, but that's really not the auntie's biological child. You know, we all know someone sort of similar in a similar situation like that. And let's discuss that. I'm not going to keep y'all long, okay? Because it is Thursday and it's like the first warm day or first warm evening in quite a bit of time. So y'all are probably enjoying that. So I'm not going to keep you long, but let me talk to you about it. If you have a friend, a family member, someone who's taking care of someone else's child, even if it's a relative or just a friend of the family's child, and all they have is that one little raggedy power of attorney, and they wish they could have a little bit more, there is something that can help them. It's called temporary custody by extended family member. And the funny thing about temporary custody by an extended family member is that although it sounds very temporary, it sounds very limited, it's not. It's the strongest tool that can be used outside of adoption or, Department of Children and Families being involved in placing the child with someone. So what do I mean by that? Meaning, let's say if I'm raising my cousin's child because my cousin's not able to raise that child. And my cousin says, "Hey, Lisa, I know I have a power of attorney I've given you, um, but I really can't do anything else. And if I want to put the child on my insurance or so forth, I say, hey, let's do a temporary custody by an extended family member." And what that means then is that once the order is entered, now that child, for all intents and purposes, I'm the guardian of that child. I'm the parental figure for that child. That means that if there's a medical issue, I can make the decision for that child. I can put that child on my health insurance benefits. I can enroll the child in school and make educational decisions for that child. I don't have to confer with the parent doesn't have to be anywhere around. A lot of times when we have parents who have, who have things that draw them away from caring and raising their children, right? That person who has custody of the child still has, or who has the child in their care, still has to get in touch with that parent. And sometimes those parents are not able to be found, right? The temporary custody prevents all of that, you know? And then it also prevents the parent from coming back and having a temper tantrum, or, using the child as leverage or anything like that, because the parent can come back and say, hey, I want my child back, right? And I can say, hey, I agree. You are in the best, you're able to act in the child's best interest. But if I don't agree with that, the parent then has to file a petition with the court to terminate the temporary custody. And with that termination, they would have to prove to the court that they are fit and able to take care of the child. Now, if you are a parent, and let's say you're thinking, oh, I want to do something like that for my child so that my child can live with, my brother, my cousin, whoever, right? But the idea of having to prove that you're fit is scary. Understand that in the state of Florida, right, it doesn't require a fit like, oh, you're perfect, right? It doesn't require a fit like, oh, you make more money than where the child is at now. No, it just requires that you're able to actually take care of this child. Now you're able to provide for the child physically, emotionally, the child's basic needs. Okay. So it does not take away your parental rights. It does not take away the ability for you to parent. It just really allows you to have that time to get yourself together and still have that child be protected under legal covering so that the person who they're with can have custody of that child. Okay. It's a stopgap measure. Okay. If you all are thinking about something like that, it is better to do a temporary custody. In my opinion, it is better to do a temporary custody than to do a power of attorney. There's not a lot of finality with the power of attorney, and everybody does not have to accept a power of attorney. So sometimes, it defeats the purpose. Also, a temporary custody will typically allow you to put the child on your health insurance and so forth as well, and make health decisions for that child, which comes into play if the child is in your care and your custody. You know, um, if you are thinking about that, or if you know of someone who is in that situation, you know, advise them to talk with an attorney. Advise them to ask about it. Advise them to get more information. If you know someone who has done a temporary custody by an extended family member or extended kin, you have them talk to an attorney if they have questions. It's easy. We're here. We're here to answer all of your questions, right? So you can do that. If you don't know of a local attorney, you can call my office and we'll point you in the right direction. I will tell you that what I've given you all before is not legal advice, right? So, disclaimer, does not create an attorney client relationship. It really is just information that if you knew where to look for it, you'd find it on your own. But I want to keep you informed. I want to keep you well prepared. And I want to give you some tools and some news that you can use. Okay. I thank you all for checking in. I thank you all for watching this. If you're watching this on the live, can you go ahead and type in live for me? And if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and type in replay. But in the meantime, in between time, I thank you. I want you all to be safe. Let those masks work for you. Isn't that what what the gospel singer said, let those masks work for you. So go ahead and be safe. And I will be seeing you all again in 2 weeks. That's not next week, but the following week. I'll be seeing you all in 2 weeks. Oh, housekeeping. We will not be having an Instagram tonight because I have to get on the road so that I can go ahead and attend the family law conference that a lot of family law practitioners here in Florida are attending. So check out the pictures. You'll see the pictures and some video from there as well. But I will be seeing you all once again, not next week, but the following week, Facebook and Instagram. Lisa Knox with LM Knox Law and Mediation. Hard knocks, call knots. I appreciate y'all so much. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.